I've said for years that match coverage is the best way to deal with the bunch meta. When you think about all the corner routes, post routes, and crossing routes that are popular in this formation, it's very, very easy to shut down some of those most popular routes with a cover 4 or a cover 6 or a cover 9. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about the top play out of bunch that a lot of players tend to default to when they see a match style coverage in their previous play, and most importantly, how you guys can shut it down. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Dan for the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about flood. Yes, just simple flood out of the gun bunch. Now, you guys know that match coverage is really, really good against Z-spot. It's good against bunch trail. Basically, all of those deep corner routes that a lot of players like to spam out of bunch are shut down by match-based coverages, whether it be quarters, palms, cover 6, etc. However, a lot of players do like to run the play flood out of the bunch, and for good reason. It's one of those plays where you basically can just blindly throw the out route, and a lot of players will run this up and down the field if you let them. Now, there are a couple of different ways that people will run this, but I'm going to show you guys the most popular way here in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and call quarters, just a simple quarters rule. In fact, quarters and palms and cover 6 will all play the exact same check against bunch, which is known as a box check, and we've talked about that here before on the channel. But in general, the problem with this coverage is that if you decide that you want to throw a out route to number 2 on the bunch side, which is the second receiver numbering from outside to in. So we're talking about Marquez Valdez-Scantling being number 1 and Randall Cobb being number 2. This number 2 on the deep out route is a rather difficult player to stop in this particular play. So you'll see that this route just tends to get open. You see, you could throw the out route, and a lot of players will just throw this up and down the field if you allow them to, simply because the quarter flat does not do a very, very good job of basically muddying up that high-low read. So what a lot of players will do is they'll snap the ball, and their goal is to throw the ball to the tight end in the flat. Well, the quarter flat defender is going to jump down on that and match it, because this is called a box check. And what you see here is basically you create a square or rectangle of 4 on 3. So you've got the low outside corner of the box here on the tight end. And then right here, you've got the low inside corner of the box right here. Then you have up top an inside corner and an outside corner on these 3 receivers. So this is why a lot of players will go to a match style coverage against a bunch look, because of this box check where they're constantly forming a 4 on 3 box around the route combo. But the problem is with number 83 driving vertically on this play, he's going to pull both of those high corners of the box back, allowing this out cut that is a flat out cut to get open. Now, if that out cut were going to the corner, that would be perfect, because number 35 would be in a perfect spot to pick that up as it was gaining depth down the field. But because it's a flat outbreaking route, this can be rather difficult. So what do you do to kind of muddy this up? The first thought would be maybe set some zone drops. Let's go ahead and put maybe our purple zone set to 10. The issue with that is that when you set zone drops for any depth, whether that be a hook curl, a curl flat, or a flat zone in your coaching adjustments, you lose all your matching principles. So your box check will no longer play box. It'll just straight up play cover 4 drop, which is not very good, because then your corner routes get back open. And that's the whole point of match coverage to begin with, is you want to be able to have a zone or a matching zone that can take away a corner route and make somebody throw something other than that. If you guys are enjoying this free YouTube content, I would strongly urge you to go over to my strategy website. GridironGameplans.gg is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault Update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active, and access to our Discord server, where every single Wednesday, we have a live lab session covering the week's vault content and any questions you guys have about Madden. So make sure you guys head over to GridironGameplans.gg. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website. So the next thing that you're going to want to do with this particular coverage is you're going to want to go ahead and shade it up. I like to go ahead and shade this coverage up simply because it's going to put my nickel corner from that quarter flat into a curl flat. So when you shade a quarter flat up, it turns into a purple zone. When you shade a curl flat down, or a quarter flat down rather, it's going to turn it into a hard flat. So the hard flat will definitely take away the tight end, but you definitely want to make sure that you have the curl flat that you're going to basically turn this quarter flat into. So by shading the coverage up, L'Jarius Sneed is now going to play a curl flat. Now on the backside of this formation, you could go ahead and do whatever you want. If you wanted to go ahead and just reset the linebackers, what that would do is that would change the quarter flat for this linebacker Hitchens that we basically were using. You could basically convert that back into a quarter flat, so he'll play kind of a matching principle on the running back. So, you know, you could go ahead and do that. You can maybe man him up. Something that a lot of players will do is they'll bluff blitz their defensive tackle on the running back side. That way, if he runs a route out of the backfield, this D tackle will match him, which is kind of a sneaky adjustment that players like to use. But the most important part of this is taking away that out cut. So we're talking about that route to Randall Cobb. And you'll notice that if they want to go ahead and quick snap flood, when we do it this way, you don't have that read. You see here, if I throw that, you're going to have L'Jarius Sneed right there to click on and pick that off. So now you're forcing them to really hammer that check down in the flat to the tight end. And if you actually take a look at how this plays, it plays rather nice. You know, you might go ahead and throw this and try to air truck if you have somebody that can air truck. But really, when you take a look at this read, it's in a spot where, you know, if you throw that, you're getting what, 3 yards? 3 yards, maybe 5 if you can get some yards after contact. But you're certainly not looking at this and saying, I've got to throw this ball. But it's okay if they do, because, you know, you can make them check it down, and most players tend to get impatient. The other thing that plays to your advantage is that, you know, this zone right here, this curl flat zone, a lot of players are just kind of pre-trained to know, oh, match coverage, I'm going to throw the deep out route out of flood. And they'll throw this blind. I can't tell you how many interceptions I've gotten out of a quarters or a palms or a cover 6 coverage just by making sure that that quarter flat defender on the bunch side is in a curl flat instead. They'll throw it right to you. Now, if you don't want to shade at all, totally understand, because like I said earlier, you know, this quarter flat does have matching assignments for the running back. So if the running back runs an out route, he plays it. If he runs an in route, he'll follow it. If he runs a wheel, a Texas, whatever it is, this linebacker will play the running back in man-to-man. Doesn't mean he'll guard him well, but he is playing him in man-to-man. So you could just go ahead and go over this player individually and put him into a curl flat. So that's something that is up to you if you just want to individually make that adjustment. But again, very, very important that you have that nickel corner in the curl flat, simply because when they go to throw that out cut habitually, as so many players do, you've got a guy there that can jump up and make that play. He is going to beat the match outside quarter zone, but he's not going to get into a spot that's tender enough to get over the top of the stock curl flat drop. So this is kind of how I played my match all year long. I've not played any zone drops. In fact, I basically play a special coverage that's in our vault on Gridiron Game Plans, and then I default into my matching principles that I've basically run since the launch of the game. So I ran match from August all the way up until, I would say, New Year's Day. And then I switched over to this new zone coverage, and then I fall back on all those matching principles that I'd run for the previous basically 5-6 months. So really, really easy for me to run my defense all out of a nickel 2-4-5 or a nickel, or I'm sorry, a big dime 2-3-6. So definitely something that I like to do. Now, there is a pretty popular concept that a lot of players are running right now where they're putting this hitch. And if they go ahead and put the B receiver on a hitch and they run flood, you can kind of see here how it behaves. Still gets open, so you need to be careful with that as well. So when somebody goes ahead and hitches the outside player, their goal right here is to kind of give you an open out route, and then hopefully be able to you know, throw the hitch if you're in some sort of zone. So a lot of players will do this against a zone coverage call. If you are struggling with the route combo right here, where they have this this hitch route and they're still throwing the out route behind it against match, you'll notice here that the 3-rec hook from the linebacker does a fine job of sitting underneath this hitch. So that'll take that away in a match coverage, but you will still want to make sure that you have this purple zone underneath of this out route. So they can throw this out route all day long, as we've done right here. So if you're struggling with this concept, what I would probably go ahead and do here is make sure that you have your curl flat over on this side. This 3-rec hook will take care of the hitch on the right. The running back is the most likely threat on this play. So what you would likely want to do here, and this is something that's kind of sneaky, as I mentioned earlier, if you bluff blitz this defensive tackle on the running back side, even though he's also in a 3-rec, he's going to play the running back. So you're going to have one 3-rec play the right of screen hitch, and you're going to have this 3-rec man up on the running back. Now from here, I would recommend probably using either Hitchens or using Thornhill. If you decide to use your Thornhill, I would put Hitchens into a hard flat, because if the running back runs an out route, you want to take that away. If the running back runs something up the seam like a wheel or a streak out of the backfield, you could take that with Thornhill manually. That is if the D tackle doesn't do a good job staying underneath of it. So with this situation, my recommendation would be to go ahead and make sure you blitz your user so that you make sure the game counts 4 guys rushing and allows, you know, your guys to shed. If you leave this guy in an inside quarter, what ends up happening is the game says there's only 3 rushing and it won't let any of them shed. So I'll show you what I'm talking about right here. I'm going to use your Thornhill in the blue. And then what you're going to see here with this concept is that, you know, we're in okay shape here. So you see here, I can go ahead and lurk on that backside dig, and the out route wasn't open and it was pretty well covered. But the problem was we didn't really get a good shed. Actually, we kind of did on this play, to be honest with you. But and the reason for that is actually the 3-rec. The 3-rec actually engaged. So the game did count 4 rushers. I apologize for that. But if you decided to maybe spy that D tackle, it would definitely count as 3. So let me go ahead and show you that again. I'm going to run the same setup, put him in a purple, put him in a hard flat, put this guy in a spy, and use your Thornhill as a zone assignment. So if they go ahead and run that same route combo that looks like this, you're going to see that we shouldn't shed. So you see here that, you know, got all day. It's about a 7-second timer. So after about 7 seconds, that's when you start to see guys shed. Like you see that Melvin Ingram did there. And then right after that, another player did. So really a 3-man rush has got a 7-second pocket. But now if I go ahead and set up that same route or that same zone again, now we've got 3 guys rushing. But if I blitz my user, now the game sees 4. What you're going to see out of that is immediately you're going to get guys working to shed. It might not be instant, but I would bet here that Chris Jones is going to end up winning, and probably going to see a win out of Clark or Ingram as well. So you'll see here that they're trying, and there you go. You got a shed by 2 players, 3 players shed on that play within 3 seconds. So there you guys have it. You kind of have a way that you could slow down flood. Obviously, it's really, really good against corner routes, but this is the play that a lot of players like to spam against matching principles. And that is just one of a million examples of how I customize my match coverage to deal with certain offensive metas. Obviously, it's really, really good against bunch if you know who to use her. And, you know, this can take away the most popular play that a lot of players use is their crutch against match style coverages. So if you guys like today's video, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints about the video, drop those below. Always want to see what you guys are talking about here on the channel. If you guys have any requests for content on the channel here in the future as we head into the spring months, definitely drop that below. And make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow with our next one. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.